100%. But I think this is what you guys are talking about. I'm going to try and find more on it. But yeah, people are saying the deal is already signed. Let's look at this. Yeah, Bassett seems to be the video. Let's see here.
Thanks to President Trump's tireless efforts to secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine, establishing the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. This partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine to unlock Ukraine's growth assets, mobilize American talent, capital, and governance standards that will improve Ukraine's investment climate and accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. The Development Finance Corporation will participate and help to establish this fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop, and both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
Wow. 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 Okay. So it got signed. So we own the Ukraine now? Kind of the vibe I get. Well, it's one of those things. It seems a little bit like, once the rebuilding happens, yeah, kind of. Kind of, because it's not just, it's not just the mineral deal, but it's also protection and it's also rebuilding. So it's like no, but yes. You know? Like, what are you doing for the guy who protects you from some crazy amount of people trying to destroy your house, then helps you rebuild half your house? You know what I mean? Then gives you a little bit of money, and all he wants is some of your dirt. You're not gonna be owned by that guy. But if that guy comes over to borrow some sugar, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, man, I got sugar. Got some sugar for you, buddy. Right? I guess that's what's happening. At their size and their economy and NATO, not an option. New territory without saying it solves the problem. Exactly. I dare them to touch one boat. Yeah, right? That's the thing. It's like a little Big Brother aspect right now. That's we'll see. See what happens now. Because now, see, this is also where a problem kind of arises too. Because you're talking about the vibe you get is that Ukraine is owned by America now, right? And that means that if Russia, and exactly what I was talking about with China and Taiwan, that means if now Russia does anything to Ukraine, they've now done something to America, or at least to America's interests. And now you got a big problem on your hands. Because now what's Russia going to do? Are they just going to try and fight the Ukraine way? Or are they going to try and actually, go back and forth with America? What does that look like? I mean, my instincts, just knowing the size of the American military, knowing the size of the Russian military, they get flipped upside down. Let me just, they get flipped upside down. I know so many guys are like, no, Russia is, they get flipped upside down. Real easy. I mean, double backflip on the ground. They get flipped. They get flipped upside down if they want to go against America. That just goes without. If you don't realize that, hey, you're wrong. Just realize it now. It would be good for you to do. If you don't know, look up what happens if you touch American boats. Japan will recommend that you don't touch American boats. Yes, exactly. They get flipped upside down. That goes without question. They rearrange everything. And then all you see is JD Vance walking in front of a Russian crowd and being like, "Hi guys, I'm your new president." Hey everybody, my name's JD. How you doing? I'm your new president. No, don't think of this as an installed government. See that Howard guy behind JD? Hey, everybody, what's going on? Huh? Never been to this place before. I like it. I like it. This is a nice place. You got nice buildings. What's left of them, at least. Don't worry. We're going to help you rebuild everything. Don't worry about it. We got food for you guys and everything. That's what happens. We make the sun spawn at our will if need be. 100%. A lot of people don't get that, man. You know, it's funny talking to one sec. A friend of mine, we were talking about the cartel versus the US, the military, and he really had it in his head. He's like, I've watched a documentary, and he's like, there's stuff that the cartel has that America just doesn't have. And I was like, are you talking about Mexicans or something? Because that's the only technology you can be talking about. Because America has everything else. Everything the cartel gets is some backhanded black market way of getting something that was American to begin with. Like, were you crazy? And we had this whole argument. He's like, I don't know. It'll be tough. I'm like, what are you talking? What? Crazy. It's basically like talking about, no, we have sold lots and lost lots. Yeah, exactly. I like Russia. I'm definitely going there if America collapses. You know, Russia, I don't know. I know a lot of Russian people. None of them want to go back. I've met a lot of Russian people in my life. None of them are like, oh man, and I'm going to go back one day. None of them. Not one. Not one of them wants to go back. I don't think America is going to collapse. If it did, you'd have to check out what condition Canada's in, because that would be easy. And then if not, you'd have to check out like what South America is looking like, you know, something like that. But obviously you could just go to Russia if you want. There's one UFC fighter that actually moved to Russia and then learned Russian, and like now he's a Russian citizen and he loves it there. But that's a UFC fighter. He can fight people for food if he needed to. He doesn't, but he could. He's a strong guy, you know? But I don't know. You'd have to look into it. Poland would be a place to go as well. Like Poland could give us a run for our money. We make something new, they instantly buy 20. Yeah, there you go. All right, so I guess the deal happened, and that's it. I don't know. I'm trying to find more info on it, but I'm just seeing this video of Bassett. Everything else looks pretty old. I mean, there's this one video of someone just saying that the mineral deal was signed. I'm not seeing anything. See if there's any updates on this. Yeah, it's just more Bassett. See, that's the thing with, and this is directly from him. Let's see if it's any longer. Nope, it's not any longer. So Bassett literally announced it on Twitter. Wow, I didn't realize that. So let's see his caption at least. Check out what he was saying. Thanks to Donald Trump, tireless efforts to secure lasting peace, I'm glad to announce. So he basically just saying what he said in the video. U.S. international development will work closely with the government of Ukraine to establish this fund, and we look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both Ukraine and the American people. Okay. And then he just released this. It's a release. Let's see what this looks like. Is this going to upload or what? There we go. Man, hotel internet holding up today. No lost frames, nothing. Good job, hotel internet. So yeah, it happened on the 30th. It must have happened like an hour ago. It must have just happened. I guess they didn't want to have any cameras in on the whole thing because you don't want to have, footage of Zelensky crying, because he's crying and he's like, I don't want to sign. I don't want no. And that Howard guy's like, you're going to sign. You understand? You're going to sign. There's a pen there. You're going to pick up the pen. You're going to make your little scribble, whatever it is you do, which is Z's or whatnot. Okay? 2 Y's at the end of your name for some reason. You're going to sign. You're going to sign quick. We're not playing around here, okay? Okay? This is the white. Listen to me right now. There's back alleys in every part of the world. I'll take you to one of them. Made him sign right away. 5'5" guy. Definitely had to sign. Let's see what this thing says. Ukraine signed a deal to establish the United States Ukraine recognition of the significant financial and material support that the people of the United States have provided to the defense of the Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion. This economic partnership positions the 2 countries to work collaboratively to invest together to ensure that our mutual assets, talent. Yeah, so basically, yeah, you're right. America now owns Ukraine. The race to the 51st state has been won. Ukraine is it was a close race, ladies and gentlemen. Ukraine has crossed the finish line first. It is now the 51st state of the America of the United States. United States of America, they won it. Everybody thought Canada was in the lead. Ukraine comes right out the side, just took the inside lane, and has signed a deal. They are now the 51st state. Hopefully they have good hot dogs. Hopefully they like baseball, ladies and gentlemen. They are now the 51st state. You can go over there and check it out if you'd like. We'll be setting up McDonald's and Burger King, and we'll be teaching all the Ukrainian chefs how to cook barbecue from now on. Have a good time out there, guys. Go and check out your new state. Man, wild. Yeah, Daisy. It seems like there would have to be more money sent. Now the thing is, I guess they're going to position it as like the money's not going to be sent anymore. Before they were sending money to Ukraine, and the money was disappearing because Zelensky's like, oh, I don't know, 70 maybe, I don't know. So they're not going to put up with that anymore. They're going to know exactly where this money's going because it's going towards rebuilding Ukraine. And then also there's going to be a mineral deal. So basically the mineral deal is going to provide money to make back what was spent on Ukraine. And then anything that has to be rebuilt, yes, in a way is going to be paid again by America. But I don't know, if I had to put it this way, and I'm just throwing numbers out there. Let's say the Ukrainian deal, the mineral deal, let's say the minerals bring about $500 billion. 350 were spent by the American taxpayer. That gets put back into the American economy, maybe even to the sovereignty fund. I don't know. And then let's say there's 150 billion left over. That goes to Ukraine and their rebuilding efforts. So it's kind of like that. It is great to know that every leader in the world can't sleep to sound because no one, not even Donald Trump, knows what's coming next. Yeah, he doesn't play around. When it comes to chaos, that's I'm telling you, one of his best weapons is chaos. He knows how to do it. He knows how to do it perfectly. No, Ukraine is a territory, so they can be sovereign. Canada or Puerto Rico is in the race. It's not even Canada. It's Alberta. Alberta does not like who won the election just now. They've been very clear that if that person who was installed, Mark Carney, won the election, that they would not put up with that. The premier, I think her name's Danielle Smith, not 100%, but she runs Alberta. She I think just today or yesterday, announced that they're extending the amount of time people have to vote in regards to the independence vote, and they've lessened the amount of people who need to vote yes in order for Alberta to leave. So that's pretty crazy. So if you're in Canada right now, if you can get residency in Alberta, and I'm not even kidding, if you can get it, you could do everything yet. You have to cut ties with whatever province you live in. If you can get all your ties done for Alberta, and Alberta ends up, becoming its own country like Texas for a few years and then becoming a part of the United States, you will become an American citizen, just grandfathered in. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so can't really take me at that, but I was talking to ChatGPT about it, and that's what you have to do. Have to keep up with global politics. We may send, but they have a tab. Exactly. They have a tab to run. Exactly. One sec gets it. See, Putin, don't be taking our money. Yeah, that's also something to look out for. But he can't take it, right? But also, he was open to a mineral deal as well. He was open to it. He wanted to do a mineral deal. He tried to stop the Ukrainian one so he could have his own with America. To be honest, Putin is old and China has become a big issue. He has. Correct. And yeah, they may be moved here soon. Yeah. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Thanks to Trump. And that's just a quote from him. Again, this is directly from his video, Bassett. So there you go. Done deal. Trump gets it done. Come on. There has to be a video of this. There's no video or anything. This is Trump. Trump didn't want to film this? I'm surprised. I would think this is what he wants to do.
The US says it's ready to sign a much-anticipated resources deal with Ukraine. There's no clarity on when it will be signed, although the Ukrainian economy minister is on her way to Washington. The deal is said to provide for a 50-50 joint economic fund between Kyiv and Washington. President Trump was asked this question by journalists at his cabinet meeting.
That the Ukraine minerals deal is about to be signed in the next 24 hours or so. There's some reports saying that, and if it's true, has the deal changed at all from the last time we heard about it?
Well, I'll ask Scott to answer the question because he's responsible for it.
Yeah, our side is ready to sign. Ukrainians decided last night to make some last-minute changes. Well, we're sure that they will reconsider that, and we are ready to sign this afternoon if they are.
Can you talk about those last-minute changes? What was removed or put in its place?
Nothing's been removed. It's the same agreement that we agreed to on the weekend. No changes on our.
Well, it was Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, and President Trump went on to talk further about the deal and what he's looking for.
I didn't want to make a complicated deal. I didn't want to make a deal that couldn't be made because Ukraine doesn't have very much money. They're going through a very bad period of time. It's been brutal. But I felt very foolish being a judge, so I said, well, we want something for our efforts beyond what you would think would be acceptable. And we said rare earth. They have very good rare earth. As you know, we're looking for rare earth all the time. Rare earth is called rare for a reason. And they have a lot. And we made a deal where our money is secure, where we can start digging and doing what we have to do. It's also good for them because you'll have an American presence at the site, Chris. And the American presence will, I think, keep a lot of bad actors out of the country, or certainly out of the area where we're doing the digging. So we made a deal, and I assume they're going to honor the deal. And I put Scott in charge, and Scott's done it beautifully, but we haven't really seen the fruits of that deal yet. I suspect we will. Well,
speaking on Ukrainian national television earlier, Denis Shmyhal said the agreement would benefit both parties.
We
are finalising details with our US colleagues. It is a real strategic deal on creating a partnership investment fund. It is a good, equal international deal about joint investments into the development and restoration of Ukraine. As soon as all the details are finalised, in the nearest future, I hope within 24 hours, the deal will be signed.
Now, let's speak to Duncan Wood, who's president of Hearst International Consulting and an expert on critical minerals and energy geopolitics. Duncan, thank you very much for joining us. Why is the United States so keen on striking a deal like this?
Thanks, Martina. I mean, I think that this is, it's a surprise to some people, but obviously it's been in the works for a while. I think the United States is very, very keen on this for a number of reasons. President Trump has promised, of course, that he would end the conflict in Ukraine rapidly. That hasn't happened. He's also promised that he'll get the Ukrainians to pay for a lot of the costs of the United States support to Ukraine over the years. And so that partially delivers on this. The deal itself, of course, comes just only days after that Trump-Zelensky meeting at the Vatican.
All right, so mainstream a little bit behind. You know, this was released the same time as Bassett actually announced that the deal was signed. So they're a little bit behind, but that's all good. They probably actually made the video, you know, probably a day ago or so, and they only released it an hour ago. But I guess that's all the information we're going to get on it now. I'm just really surprised that there hasn't been a actual release of the signing happening. I'm just surprised. I guess this is where it actually went down. The moment
we're learning that President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky had a meeting before the funeral.
This is the moment that Trump was like, you're going to sign.
Began this morning. We have some brand new photos.
You're going to sign, okay? You're going to sign. It's going to be a beautiful deal. And you have to understand, you owe me so much money. You understand? I can pay you 70. If you give me 80 billion, I can pay you 70, and then we clean on debt, okay? Okay, you're really, really, really retarded, okay? You're gonna sign the deal. We're gonna own your country. It's fine. It's fine. Either we own you or Russia owns you. Which one you want? Maybe at the town hall tonight. Yeah, maybe. So did they make a deal? Yes, they made a deal. The deal has been signed. The deal's been signed. Bassett actually, talking to Roland there, Bassett has announced that the deal has been made. Where is it? Yeah, Bassett announced it. He made a release. He released it on Twitter about an hour ago. He released his statement on Twitter an hour ago. So that's it. It's done. It's done. It's good. Now, where does this leave Russia in the whole thing? Because just because they signed a deal doesn't mean Russia is all of a sudden, you know, along for the ride just because. But we'll see. We'll see what actually happens. I don't know. You know, maybe Russia just knows now that he can't go after them anymore. Maybe. I don't know. Have to see what happens from there, because if there's any more attacks, it's going to be a world of war, because if Russia does that, somebody will step in to help Russia. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, someone steps in to help America, and that's literally World War III. That's how that goes. But we'll see. We'll see. I honestly, you know, I know people always say Putin's a monster. I think he's a little more sensible than people give him credit for. You know, I think he's a world leader, just like anybody. I think at the end of the day, he wants to keep power. He doesn't want to lose his life. He definitely doesn't want his country destroyed, even partially. I think he knew going after Ukraine, he wouldn't receive too much damage in regards to his actual country being destroyed. He would just lose soldiers. I think he's fine with losing soldiers, but not fine with his actual soil being ripped apart and turned into a parking lot, because that's what would happen if he decided to attack something that was so linked to America. So this might have just solved it. Donald Trump might have just solved the whole Ukraine conflict. But we'll have to wait and see. What else we got? What else we got here?